Hey guys, it's Amy at Someplace Sunny, where every day we embrace the sunshine, even on the cloudiest of days. This week we're diving into a topic that is very familiar to me, as I have been suffering with it for about 24 years, and it is anxiety. Anxiety is something that can make you feel overwhelmed. It can make you feel isolated, but you're not alone. I have learned so many things in my journey of battling anxiety, and of course, I'm not healed. I'm in the healing process. I don't know that anxiety will ever go away, but I have learned ways to manage it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about some personal stories. We're going to talk about practical ways to manage and overcome it, and exactly what anxiety is. Okay, first let's talk about understanding anxiety. There's a lot of different types of anxiety. There's generalized anxiety, there's health anxiety, which I do suffer from. And we'll get into those in future broadcasts. But for now, we're just going to talk about anxiety, that feeling of worry and nervousness and unease about uncertain about an outcome. It's basically what I like to say, what I've heard somewhere along the line in my journey, is that depression is worrying about the past and anxiety is worrying about the future. And I guess that would be a really good way to sum it up. And what happens, everybody has stress, and we have stress hormones, and the fight or flight, and stress is a good thing. But whenever it becomes constant, it can interfere with your daily life. And I know this more than anybody because I have wasted so many days of my life on worrying about things that were just ridiculous, to be honest, and honestly never happened. So many of our sun seekers have shared their personal experiences with anxiety, and we would like to invite you to do that at someplacesunny.shop. If you click on share my story, it really can be a beacon of hope for so many others that are maybe not ready to share theirs yet, so they can heal through your story, as well as sharing it and not keeping it all bottled up. Now, one thing I don't do is run around and say, I have anxiety, right? Because I don't like to give it power. And I learned that. I always kind of internalized it. I was never one. I have a friend, and they run around and tell everybody, they spew that word every 15 minutes. And I try to explain to them that from my experience, again, I'm not a psychologist. I have a nursing degree. But I have been dealing with this for a very, very long time. And this is probably the healthiest mentally that I have been during my 24-year journey. So it's the natural response to stress. It is a good thing. We can't walk through life with blindfolds on and think that everything is just rainbows and unicorns, because it's not. But again, whenever it gets to be constant, whenever it interferes with your daily life, common symptoms include restlessness, rapid heart rate, difficulty concentrating. There are a whole slew of them that I have experienced. Sometimes your throat will close and you can't breathe. It's just obsessive worry that you can't control over things that most likely aren't going to happen anyway. So that basically is what it is. If you think that you have anxiety, there are a lot of different anxiety quizzes that you can take online. I know I used to take them nonstop, and the results didn't change. But I'll put those down in the link, some of the ones that I really like, because the first step is realizing that you have it. It took me probably 7 or 8 years to even get diagnosed. I didn't have it my whole life. I woke up one night at about 27 after I had my first son, and was in a panic and thought I was going to die. And it just got progressively worse since then. So the number one thing is I wish there would have been the resources that there were, that there are now back then, but there just weren't. So I was kind of in the dark, thinking I was literally having very, very severe heart problems, heart issues. So that I believed it because nobody could give me a correct diagnosis. So again, it's very important to seek help if you feel this way. But the best starting point is to take the little quiz down below and find out exactly, if it's stating that you are prone to that, and then get yourself into, your family practitioner or your psychologist, because that is really where the healing starts. I couldn't do any of this without the help of my psychologist. Now, we're going to discuss some of the coping strategies that you can use once you've decided that you feel that you have anxiety. So a lot of the things that I do, and I've started these journeys many, many times, guys, and I didn't always stick with them. So the one thing that I have stuck with over the 24 years is seeing a psychologist. I'm on my third psychologist. I started out with one who retired. The second one unfortunately passed away, which was very rough on me. I had been seeing him for quite a while, and he was really helpful. And it kind of sucked whenever you have to start over and so I know that there may be some of you out there who maybe have seen a psychologist before and you've lost track with them, or maybe you're in a different area or whatever it may be, but it's so important. I know that thinking about starting over from the beginning, is very difficult to do. But this one, my psychologist that I'm seeing now, is, as much as I loved the second one, I think that I have gotten through. I've had the biggest breakthrough with my current one. So that would be number one. Number two, I do breathing exercises. That is one thing that can keep you grounded. There was a time in my life whenever I had nobody, even after I was diagnosed with it, guys, nobody could tell me that it was anxiety. Whenever my heart was racing and I was sweating and I was running to the ER and it was just completely out of control. And no matter how much I tried to say, okay, Amy, this is anxiety, nothing was telling me that. Everything in my brain, everything in my body was telling me I was having a heart attack. That's how my symptoms started. So it's very important to, again, anxiety is worrying about the future, depression is worrying about the past, and we're not in either one of those. We're right here, right now. So that is a big one for me. I ground myself. And I do breathing exercises. There's a lot of good ones on YouTube. And you just, meditation is tough. I've started it multiple times over the years. And again, there's no perfect way. I think I read recently in a book, probably a couple months ago, that there is no perfect way to do meditation. It just comes to you. So if you're messing up in the beginning and your mind's wandering and whatever, just keep going. Just draw back to that breath. And put yourself here and now, and know that you're safe here and now. Another thing that I would do is I would wear a gum band. So anytime those thoughts would come in my head, those terrible thoughts about my kids being abducted or worse yet murdered, or any other irrational, illogical thing that I think, I still do this. I snap a gum band. And that kind of brings me back to reality. Whenever I was first going to counseling, my very first counselor was back whenever, I'm going to say my age here, but it was back whenever we were just, Windows computers were just coming up, like early 2000s. And I don't know if you guys all remember, but you would get all these ads or like Windows popping up all the time. And she explained to me to just, whenever those thoughts come, you want to picture them like they're those windows, and you X them out, X them out, X them out. So I did that for a very long time as well. A healthy lifestyle is another one. And I know whenever you're ridden with anxiety, you're probably like, Amy, come on, man. You can't have you can't have a healthy lifestyle because you're just in chaotic mode. You're in survival mode. And I get that. And again, the more that you can ground yourself, I try to make sure that I eat every single morning. I get outside and walk. Getting outside is so important, to get out in nature. And just a lot of times what I do is I come outside, I start my day reading. And again, I've done this before several times, and it lasted for a while. And then this winter, was a really, I also suffer from seasonal affective disorder, which we will get into in many future shows. But this winter was a really tough one for me. I was coming off of a medication that I needed in order to get a surgery because my anxiety was so bad, and I am a nurse and my son is in medical school, and I know better, but I was still terrified to get my gallbladder out. So they took me off of that medicine this January, and between the side effects of that and the seasonal affective disorder, it was really bad. So I promised myself on January 1st that I was going to make every effort that I could to not have to live my life like this anymore. I am a person who likes to be outside. I like to go places. I'm social. And I was almost turning into a recluse. So I had to make that commitment to me. And that is the number one thing. As hard as it is so hard, especially whenever you're looking at it from a standstill point and you're just starting to want to, you're tired of living in survival mode. You're tired of all that, and you're just wanting to start to get better and heal and get healthy. It seems like it's a never-ending road, but I promise you, you do begin to see light at the end of the tunnel. As I said, this is probably the best that I've been, and it's still not perfect, and there's days that still suck, and I still think insanity things, but it's better because I'm implementing all of these things. So very important. Find self-help books are amazing. I'm going to do a series. If anybody is interested, drop a link or a comment in the comments and ask me if you're interested in books. Just write books, and I can go over some of the most amazing books that are helping me. And I start my day with that. I do nothing first. I don't get on social media. I don't do anything until I fill my mind with a good spot. And I just fill it with good things, with positive things. And then I'm silent. You can pray if you're a religious person, or, talk to the universe, whatever it may be. I tend to do daily devotionals in the morning, which I do before I read. And then I sit in silence and I just ask, what do I need to know? What needs to come to me today? And that kind of, if I can start my day like that and have everything, you're not going to have everything paced out, but feel okay with how my day's going to go, and hand it over, again, to God, to the universe, to whatever power you believe in, or to yourself. Just hand it over. Just be done. And just say to this, okay, I know what I need to do today. I know what I need to stay focused, and then just get on with your day and try to leave it behind. And I know that's a lot of times easier said than done, but these are tips that really do help. And once you start implementing them all together, so start with one thing. In the morning, get up and do your breathing exercises. And then just build, because it's continuous and it's constant building. So mindfulness is another thing that is so important. As I said earlier, we don't live tomorrow. We're not here tomorrow. We don't live tomorrow. It's not here yet. And yesterday's gone, and there's not shit we can do about it. So learning and managing, that was one of my biggest things, and that is still a struggle of mine, is learning to stay in the present, here now. I'm safe here and now. This is reality, where I am. So that's an important thing. Also, surround yourself with friends. A lot of people don't understand it, guys, and that's just how it is. And, I was so upset for a very long time at some certain people in my life, because they just don't understand it. And I felt like they were looking at me like I was like crazy or something. And that wasn't the case at all. So, but you can always find someone. I have a dear friend, who doesn't understand it. She's never experienced it, but she tries. She tries to learn from me. She listens to what I say. So she is a very good support system to me, even though she's never experienced it or understood, or doesn't necessarily understand it. And you can't. This is something that I tell everybody, you can't understand unless you've actually physically lived it. It's just not something that can be explained. So whenever you find those people in your life that can support you no matter what, no matter if they're with you in it or not, no matter if they're experiencing it or not, or if they ever have or haven't, that is just so very important, to find people to surround yourself with. If anything, just positive people. You don't want to surround yourself with, Debbie Downers. So it does help. Like I said, I have a girlfriend and she sends me little memes. And I can tell that she listens to what I say. She listens whenever I talk to her, because then I'll get a meme a couple days later that'll have something to do with what we spoke about, which is amazing. And that's really the best that you can ask for, is somebody who at least tries to understand. So before I wrap up, please, if you have any questions about anything that we've talked about today, about anything that I can help you with from my experience, or if you would like to share your experiences and things that could help me, we're all learning here together, please put those in the comments. I just wanted to let you know that anxiety is something that is turning anxiety into strength is possible. We just have to explore the challenges along with the opportunities that we have, and there are so many nowadays to, get to the other side of it, or as I always say, at least to manage it, so that it is not controlling our lives. So I would encourage you to share your story in the comments. Sharing your stories and your experiences can be such a positive thing for others. Maybe there's people here who aren't ready to share their story yet, and but they're watching and they're reading yours, and they can take some hope and some empowerment from yours. We'd also like you to join our Sunseeker tribe at someplacesunny.shop, where we have the coolest sun-inspired, anxiety overcoming, depression overcoming. We have all of the cool wear there. So, and 5% of all sales from someplacesunny.shop go to the Someplace Sunny Foundation, which will provide much needed help and hope for so many people suffering with mental health challenges. So again, please share your story. Please like, comment, and share, so that we can help everybody find their happy place and reach their someplace sunny. Until next time.